No one cooks the way we cook, and no one has the bounty of raw ingredients that we have. So to live and cook here is not only an exceptional experience, but people worldwide know about it. As I look back on my youth, I realized the gift God gave the Folse family. I grew up learning how to fish, gather seafood, and cook every day of my life. Join me, Chef John Folse, as I cook up dishes honoring the age-old traditions of seafood and Louisiana's world-famous cuisine on Hooks, Lies, and Alibis.
Hooks, Lies, and Alibis is underwritten by Visit Baton Rouge, a longtime partner of this series and LPB. The capital city offers Southern hospitality, cultural attractions, food, shopping, and fun. Information at visitbatonrouge.com. And by Audubon, Louisiana, working to conserve, restore, and protect important places for birds and people since 1924. And by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world.
Today we're just slowly cruising a little bayou off of Lake Verret. And with me is one of the state biologists, Amity Bass, who's in charge of the turtles of our state. I assume turtles, right?
Yeah.
Is there an issue with turtles in the swamps of Louisiana?
Yes, there are. It depends on the species, but the alligator snapping turtle in particular is a species of concern for our agency for many reasons. One reason is that it is a cultural icon for our state. Louisiana hosts the most robust populations of alligator snapping turtles within its range in the southeast. But also the alligator snapping turtle is actually been petitioned for the endangered species list. So we're working with other southeastern states to assess the status of the species and see what we can do to bring the species back from kind of the brink of extinction.
Now, what brought that about? Was it just loss of habitat, or was it cast iron pots of the Cajuns, a little bit of each?
Multiple factors. In the past, when there was a commercial harvest for this species, Louisiana was very heavily exploited. People would come in from other states and other areas to trap our turtles here, and so the population was hit pretty hard with commercial demand for the species, and it takes this species 25 to 30 years to be old enough to reproduce. Wow. So definitely an animal, it takes a long time to reach maturity, so it can't recover very well. Also, another issue is nesting habitat. They do nest on the edges of waterways, and so if people are clearing land along those edges, it impacts them. The more open you make the area, the more susceptible they are to fire ants and raccoons, and so they really decimate the nest.
Because they're actually laying their eggs in these nice soft bottoms and right off of the bayous here in Louisiana, yeah. And it's easy for these other predators to get to it, yeah. Including those building camps and boat sheds, exactly. And all of that as well. Well, let's see. We're out here searching to see if we have one, so we can. You want to go hunt it down?
Yes.
Let's go look.
All right. Is this also prehistoric? Yes, but it doesn't.
A lot of people may not realize that I'm a sportsman. I believe in giving a turtle a fighting chance. That's why when I was a little boy growing up in St. James Parish, we used to wade out into the swamplands and shuffle our feet along those muddy bottoms until we hit the back ridges of a turtle. Now that's hunting. Now that's dinner.
I tell you, I can't think of anybody better to stir a pot of turtle sauce piquante with in the swamps of Louisiana than Secretary of Wildlife and Fisheries, Robert Barham.
An old pot stirrer.
An old pot stirrer. Thank you so much for being here. And look at the A-team we have back here.
Oh,
see
my
there?
goodness. These are the folks that make me look good.
I tell you what, they made me look good today too. I tell you, I'm gonna make them look good in a minute with this pot right here. We're doing a turtle sauce piquante. We went out today to really search out the history of these turtles and what's going on. And your department does such unbelievable work, not only identifying all these natural resources, these species, but the protection of them as well, and the education to the public about what's happening to our natural species out here. Tell us a little bit about the department. What exactly are you overseeing?
Well, we're overseeing an awful lot in Louisiana. We're the biggest land operator in Louisiana. We manage and operate over 1.5 million acres.
Wow.
And we're in every parish in the state, got probably 1,000 people, including wonderful biologists and agents like we have here today, and we're present in every parish.
The role of these men and women here are not only enforcement, as I mentioned. Of course, they're out there in the field. What are some of the departments that they oversee?
They handle our wildlife management areas, our refuges, our fish hatcheries, a lot of diverse activities, our marine lab, and our charge is to conserve and maintain the natural resources of Louisiana. And that's the mission. We've got to take care of the wild creatures so that future generations will get to experience what you and I have.
Well, you know, it's so impressive that your budget all comes in dollars from fishing licenses and activities in the wilds, right?
We don't get a dime of tax money from the state of Louisiana. It's all self-generated funds that come from the fees and licenses associated with people doing outdoor activities. So I need more people out there hunting and fishing.
Well, we're doing everything we can to make that happen. And let me just say, I've had such a great opportunity to work with these men and women. Good opportunity to work with you as well. I'm never more proud than I am to be out amongst the wilds with these guys here, not only to see their love of nature and the love of what they do, but also, as you say, preservation for generations yet to come. So thank you all, and thank you all so much too.
Well, thank you.
You ready to cook a little turtle sauce piquante? Now let me tell you what we have here. We have turtle. Now, turtle is a very special meat. The old folks used to say that turtle has 7 distinct meats in it. Is that true from
that's what the old stories say. I know it's a lot of good meat in it.
Oh, is it? And I'm gonna put, you can turn our stock off over there. I noticed how you were aware of that stock. I didn't know you were a good cook too.
Well, I'm used to hot places, but this one was getting there.
Well, hey, look, that's one thing about our life. We're always around heating fire, that's for sure. Now, I've just put the dark brown roux in here, and the roux is equal parts of oil and flour, and that's all in there, and that's going to be the thickening agent. Now, why don't you get this bowl right here, this big one, and bring it on over to me. I have onions, I have celery, I have all kinds. Look at that garlic. I'm going to put all of that down into the pot like that and mix all of that together, and a little bit of these beautiful spicy tomatoes. This is diced tomatoes that also has jalapeno in it, and of course some tomato sauce as well going into it. Now you can grab some of this little salt and pepper, garlic. You can just throw what you like in there, and I'm going to stir this around and mix it together. This is the base for Louisiana sauce piquante, from the Spanish hot and spicy. So this has to be a spicy sauce, which is why we put in the spicy tomatoes. Now what I'm going to do is to go ahead. You're doing a good job there, I'll tell you. That's really great. Now what I'm going to do is to go ahead and add some of that stock. So if you would just take a ladle at a time, and you can just, don't worry about getting it on the table. Just go ahead and put it right on in here. This is a turtle stock. We actually boil and just keep on going. We actually boil about a couple pounds of turtle bones after we browned them to create this beautiful stock. And you can see how gorgeous that is. See how nice that is right there. One more will do it. Now I'm going to keep adding stock and simmer this on a low heat for about 3 or 4 hours to tenderize the turtle. Now, you ready to swap pots here?
I'm ready.
You take that one out. I'm going to take the hot one out of the way. You put the finished pot right up here. And I want everybody to see what this turtle sauce piquante looks like. Oh, you see how it cooks down into this really rich, thick stew? You ready for some right here?
I think it's time.
I'm going to add a little bit to it right there, nice, and it should be good and tender. Now, you go ahead and taste that. Now, if you're wondering what this thing looks like, this gigantic turtle we keep talking about, you want to know what we're eating? Well, just take a look at this.
I probably need to try a little more here in a minute.
Look, you got more right there.
Got a friend here.
Look, I don't want to put my hand anywhere near him, but that's that famous alligator snapping turtle, the prehistoric. This thing walked the earth 3 million years ago, and I promise you there were people in the swamplands looking to cook it.
Remember hearing about beef stroganoff as a kid? Man, I thought that was some kind of an exotic dish that I'd never get a chance to eat. Now, I make stroganoff with turtle.
That's the turtle we caught right now. Huh? Remember that? That's the turtle we caught.
I remember, it was earlier.
Remember that?
I remember.
Remember we pulled out the trap?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, y'all, look who I have with me here. I have Amity Bass and I have Kerry Landry, 2 biologists who turned chefs just for the day. I love your name, by the way, Amity.
Oh, thanks.
How did you get that name?
My mama liked it.
House of Horrors.
Yeah, exactly. On a bad day.
I don't believe that. And you're a swamp girl yourself. You were born and reared in the swamplands of Louisiana,
yes, sir. Yes, sir, I was.
And how did y'all both biologists, both of you studying the creatures of the swamp, especially turtle? Well, you're turtle, right?
Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's what I did my thesis work on. I went to ULM in Monroe,
Yeah.
and my professor was one of 5 actual turtle biologists in the state, and so I studied turtle biology, and my species that I focused on was the alligator snapping turtle.
See that, y'all? This is for real. I'm telling you, this is for real. And you, what? Now you were what? Alligator or?
I actually studied fire ants in graduate school. Not exactly what I imagined, but it was really interesting and get to learn about the entomology world.
So what's your specialty now?
I am the gopher tortoise biologist for the state, so they're keeping me really busy right now.
Well, look, I enjoyed my time with you. Everybody's watched us in the swamps, y'all fighting alligators in the big net. Now it's my time to teach y'all how to cook. You know what I mean? Y'all ready? Pull that pot right onto the fire there, and you can throw that butter. Just slide it on down. Huh? And now what we have here, I've already poached the turtle. This is the alligator snapping turtle. Now you can just stir that around. And what I've done, I have a pot of stock over there. If you just pick up that ladle and show everybody what that is, just kind of pick up that ladle and grab. You see all of those beautiful seasonings in there? We have carrots and onion and all that. And we boil the turtle in there for about, I guess, almost 3 hours to tenderize it nicely. And I have some of the stock here. So you ready to go here? Huh? Now, you catch and you study turtles. Do you eat them?
I have eaten turtles. I have not eaten any myself recreationally, but I will go somewhere and buy it.
You mean you have access to all the turtles in the swamps of Louisiana and you go into the fish market?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
what's the biggest turtle you ever pull into a boat?
135 pounds.
That's a pretty big one.
Y'all, we doing turtle stroganoff today, and so you're going to stir that. Now, we have the turtle already. Remember I said it was nice and tender, right? Into my cast iron pot. So just stir that around nicely. And then I'm going to add my roux to it. It's just going to be a stroganoff is a Russian dish. It came to America in the 19th century by immigrants who brought it over here. And it didn't take long for the Americans to start to add game to the beef, because it was a beef stroganoff in those days. And of course they started to add any kind of fish or game to it. So as you adding that in, I'm going to put, let me just kind of take a little bit of that sour cream and put down in there. Just put it all down there. Just throw it on in. And then I'm going to give you a little, there you go. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of this cream cheese. You can tell this is Russian immigrants now, right? Now go ahead and mix that in real nicely. And you got the flour mixed in?
Mm-hmm. Flour is mixed in.
I'm gonna add, I want to encourage y'all to go home and do this. You got me? Just keep on, just stir that around nicely and blend it in. I can see y'all hadn't made this dish before. You're so cautious. You're not cautious at all in the swamp.
It is.
It's new. Anyway, so now with that, I'm gonna add a little bit red wine to it. I'm gonna add a little bit Worcestershire sauce, and you wanna mix the sour cream and all that in well. And look, take a little pinch of that salt and pepper and add to it, and it's just gonna be absolutely flavorful. Just keep mixing that up. And what I have here, the Russians, as well as most Americans in the 19th century and today, will eat stroganoff over egg noodles. That's the way we do it. So I have some already done here. See that? Now, why don't you just dip way down deep in there and put it right, or get some of that good meat out of there too. Let's get some of that beautiful turtle meat out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, now you got it. One more big ladle. Now, a lot of times a scoop of sour cream will go right on top of it. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clean that bowl a little bit. You can put that lid back on there, a little parsley. And y'all, we've turned this feisty, man-eating, loggerhead turtle into a delicious stroganoff at the hands of these two angels right here. Thank y'all so much. We're gonna be back in a minute. Look, they're gonna cook a little bit more with me, huh? You need to get all that sour cream out of there. Come on, stir it around. Let's go.
Turtle soup in New Orleans is an iconic dish. Even Bienville, the founder of New Orleans, is known to have eaten and loved turtle soup. Well, soft-shell turtle soup, that is. The Mississippi River was full of them. I wonder who the chef was for Bienville.
Y'all, we back right here on the dock at beautiful White Oak Plantation and right on the lake here. And of course, I have Amity and I have Kerry, my two biologists turned chefs. We're doing pretty good so far, huh?
Yes.
We're moving right along, right?
I think we're helping okay.
You're doing a good job. And I want to talk to you about cooking. I can just tell by your motion here, you know how to cook. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about turtle meat. You're the turtle expert right here. Now, I've always heard that turtle has 7 different distinct flavors of meat, like beef and pork and chicken and wild game. Now, you're the expert. What do you say?
Well, I'm not sure about the 7 different flavors, but there are different muscle types within the turtle that will make the meat have a different consistency, and one will be more tender than the other, a little darker, a little lighter.
Well, so. and it's real evident here, too, because this big, this looks like a leg muscle or something here, is nice and light, but then we have some really dark, almost like beef notes here. So I would imagine just that would give it different flavors.
Different flavor, yeah.
And the imaginative Cajun in the swamps of Louisiana, sitting on the front porch of a trapper's cabin, would probably try to figure out, yeah, I think I just tasted a little lamb or something, right? Anyway, y'all, again, the secret to turtle, it is a little tough, right? I mean, you have to cook it. So we always poach it first in a stock. I have my nice stock pot right there, as you've just seen. And with vegetables, I have onions and carrots and garlic and celery in there. And the dish that we're going to do now, the Creoles of early New Orleans savored. It was an English dish, turtle soup, that was first made with the sea turtles, which of course now are endangered. And we certainly would never cook with sea turtle, right? Now, but the loggerhead turtle of Louisiana, how is that doing? Because that's what we use, right?
Well, alligator snapping turtles, you can no longer harvest them commercially because there was a lot of pressure on them in the state, but you can still recreationally take turtles, and they're also farmed within the state and still be able to consume the meat. They are declining within the state. Some of that in some areas is because of harvest pressure, but a lot of it's because of fire ant and raccoon populations increasing, and so they eat the eggs and the young.
Oh, wow.
But one of our agency's primary goals within our program is to work towards conservation of this species and making sure that it does not need to be listed under the Endangered Species Act.
I know you told me that great story about the about that incubator or whatever program y'all have there, which I think is really great.
Head Start.
The Head Start,
Yeah.
Head Start for turtles. That's right. I thought that was great. Now, you have the dark brown roux here, y'all, equal parts of oil and flour to create not only a flavoring agent, but a thickening agent as well. And the turtle soup begins with onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic, the same trinity in Louisiana cooking. That's an important thing to remember, that of the 7 nations that founded Louisiana, they all loved the trinity of flavors, onion, celery, bell pepper in all of our food, as well as garlic, green onions, and parsley. And that's where we get the term highly seasoned. It has nothing to do with spice. Now, you're a great cook too. I know, I can tell by your cooking technique here, but you do like to cook, right?
I do. I love to cook.
And now you were telling me about some of the wild game species you enjoy.
Yes, sir. I love to cook. You know, I love to make roux, but I really love wild game. I love duck and deer, wild turkey.
Now, do you do a lot of hunting yourself, or do you?
I don't. I love to fish, so mostly what I do is fishing. But you know, I'll cook deer if you know, friends will hunt and give me some deer. I'll cook deer and duck, and actually I recently just cooked nutria.
Nutria, oh, and they're eating up all of them.
They're really destructive on our coastline, and our biologists every year go out and harvest the nutria in the marsh, just to kind of, you know, help the coastline, and we'll get nutria from them, and recently just cooked some, and it's actually really good.
So y'all, I've added a little bit tomato sauce and a little bit tomato paste, and look how that dark brown roux has turned this just a beautiful chocolate color. I wish you could smell this. I'm gonna add into that a little bit pickle relish, because that's always great in the dish, and always eggs. Now, always chopped eggs into it, and of course a little bit sherry, or a little bit even a Madeira or something like that would always flavor the turtle soup. Of course, when the French got to Louisiana, they started to take that English soup and added the dark brown roux and all of the trinity of seasonings and the Moorish spices from Spain as Spain came into Louisiana. And what we ended up with is the classic soup of Louisiana. And you've done a good job there.
Delicious.
I have some already done. Why don't you take the lid off of that? And you see what I have there?
Yeah, and what are these eggs for?
These right here, y'all, turtle eggs. You see these? Now, these aren't really turtle eggs, these are quail eggs. But in early New Orleans, if you didn't have the eggs of the female turtle in the bowl when you made a turtle soup, the diners would never eat it, because they would think that that soup was a mock turtle soup because the turtle eggs were not in it. So the tradition became very important that to be successful in turtle soup in restaurants in New Orleans, you better have the turtle eggs in the bottom of the plate. So anyway, y'all, that's the soup right here, just beautifully done, and so the fragrance with all those spices is incredible. Anyway, y'all, we're gonna wrap up right here, but we have one more dish for you, and we have some guests coming out onto the dock with us. You don't want to miss the close of the show. Thank y'all so much. Wow, you did it. Look how beautiful that is. You're a good cook, I can tell. Huh?
One of my famous falsisms is, I'm not mad, I'm passionate. I love passionate people, especially those passionate about their culture, who actively promote and preserve their heritage. Well, Janie Luster is that person for Louisiana's native people.
Y'all, I tell you, the dock is filled with good friends, and that's what I love about living in Louisiana. Fire up a pot, they're coming, I promise. And they're bringing something, too. And look what we have. The last dish I want to show you was a candy, a nice, it's kind of like a meringue shell that has a lot of nice sugar in it. We call it sea foam candy because it has a little green food coloring in it, and perfect for being out on the dock. Here I have a little Cointreau. This is kind of my iced tea right here, a little Cointreau liqueur, a little vermouth. Isn't this good? And y'all, Janie Luster, y'all know her well from the home Indian Nation, and of course Miss Lois. She did such a beautiful lunch for us one day when we were out doing Alligator Guard. Y'all remember Miss Lois? How about introducing everybody else for us?
I have Miss Corinne Park. with the United Nation, and she served for over 30 years with Indian education in Barham Parish.
Oh, fantastic,
One
fantastic.
of our elders.
Now, you have something right here that you and I talked about, and you have to tell me. Now, this is a turtle. We've been cooking turtle all day here. Now, tell me about this.
It's a half-hitch turtle basket. I'm kind of known for my turtle basket. The half-hitch was lost in the early 40s. That tradition wasn't passed on.
It was lost in your nation that
Yes.
everybody quit doing this half-hitch.
Correct. And the unique thing, we were the only nation to do this basket, the half-hitch. And so I was the first one to be able to relearn it, and now we have
And look how
people.
beautiful. I mean, you talk about treasures that you have to preserve in Louisiana. And one of the things that I always love about Janie is that not only do you have such a fierce pride for your own culture, but a fierce pride for Louisiana as well. And she told me she was going to make a basket for me. I know it's not finished yet. She said, I can't have it, but I'll collect Native American baskets, and I cannot wait to add this one to my collection. Ladies, I want to thank you, Amity, and of course, Kerry. Thank you all so much for being here cooking with us. Thanks to all of you. And y'all, thanks for stopping by the camp today. It's so nice to have all of you. And whenever you think of fish or seafood, always think of Louisiana's sportsman's paradise. See you next time for another tasty edition of Hooks, Lies, and Alibis. Thanks for that nice turtle. Look at that, huh?
Hooks, Lies, and Alibis is underwritten by Visit Baton Rouge, a longtime partner of this series and LPB. The capital city offers Southern hospitality, cultural attractions, food, shopping, and fun. Information at visitbatonrouge.com. And by Audubon, Louisiana, working to conserve, restore, and protect important places for birds and people since 1924. And by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Our mission is to tell Louisiana's story to the world. For a copy of John Folse's cookbooks and more, call the number on your screen or visit www.lpb.org/Folse.